Minister. Now call Deputy Gerry Adams. Deputy, 2 minutes.
Last one, Ira, in budget 2013, the government signalled that €750 million would be cut from health spending this year, and that medical card entitlements would be targeted. Now, in April, during the Easter recess, the HSE announced that further restrictions on medical cards were being introduced, and this followed on from legislation which lowered the income threshold for medical card qualifications for people over 70 years old. And this from a government elected on a promise of free primary health care for all. Now, any TD here will know that constituency offices are being inundated by citizens who are bearing the brunt of these cuts, by citizens who have had their medical card entitlements removed. In many cases, they're from households in mortgage distress, they're suffering unemployment, all the extra taxes which you are pressing down on them. Now, for example, because there are stories behind all of these stats, in my own constituency of Louth, a 7-year-old boy with a congenital heart defect which has required numerous surgeries, a young lad who has had the need for ongoing GP care, hospital care and medical medication, he's had his card withdrawn. That's part of your government's austerity policy, and parents have had to cope with this. So, Ira, do you accept that in taking the medical card from thousands of families, you're inflicting financial hardship and poor health prospects on people who are already struggling? And do you accept that this is especially severe for families like the one I have mentioned, who take this cut on top of all the others, including the outrageous cuts to child benefit? So would you commit that the government will restore medical card entitlement?
Minister.
Thank the Deputy for his question. First of all, I'd say that the medical card eligibility is set out very plainly in law. The means test has not been changed. There are rights for people to present individual health cases, and they are always dealt with. And if the Deputy has a specific case to draw to the attention of those assessing them, I'd be happy to receive that. But just in the broad picture, I'd have to say that there is an increasing number of people on medical cards. Never in the history of the state have we had as many as 42% of people eligible for medical cards, and that has increased this year. So, despite the difficulties in which public services find themselves and the economies that every part of government has had to make, we continue to expand entitlement for primary care, because we recognise that people need to have eligibility in that area. So, yes, there are difficulties in every part of the health service, but in the case of medical cards, it's an area where we are expanding eligibility, and we have not reduced the means test in any way, and we continue to have a process there where cases of particular hardship and particular medical evidence can be brought to the attention of the decision makers, and they are factored in to the decision that is taken. So that's the process, and I think we're seeking in difficult times to make sure that people are catered for in respect of their access to GP and primary care.
Margaret Arrett, supplementary question from Deputy Adams.
Well, that sounds wonderful, but it doesn't reflect the reality of life for citizens like the one that I outlined. Let me give you another example. This is a letter looking support for a man down in Galway. Jimmy is in good general health, but requires the constant presence of a responsible adult at all times for safety issues, as he's registered blind and very deaf. His children, who are now retired, travel on a rota basis to stay with Jimmy and take care of him. His limited income ensures his home is warm and comfortable and that he has good nutrition. He receives a home care attendance service Monday to Friday to support family members. I believe that the family needs a medical card to maintain home care attendance services and so on. This man is 102 years old. Now, come on, Minister. This is the reality for a family out there. You're infamous. Remember your 5-point plan? I think you called the health section a fair care plan. There's nothing fair and there's nothing caring about it, Minister. It's bonuses for corrupt bankers, it's toadying up to the well-connected and the wealthy, and then it's forcing families like this to bear the awful brunt of your austerity policies.
Thank you, Deputy.
Now, in that case, and here's another twist in the tail, the family made representations, health professionals made representations, Sinn Féin made representations, so the decision is being reviewed. But his card has been extended for how long? For 1 month while the review takes place. So you're making healthcare unaffordable, you're making it inaccessible for the sick, for the elderly and the vulnerable. And I appeal to you again, don't give us the palaver, don't give us the rhetoric or the plamas. Withdraw these cruel cuts.
Minister.
I'm perfectly happy to arrange that the case that the Deputy raises would be investigated, and I think from what he indicated, it is being reviewed. But just in the general situation, anyone who's aged 70 years and over is entitled to a medical card if their gross income does not exceed €600. So that's the income threshold. The other part of that assessment is a person may have savings, and savings of up to 36,000 will be disregarded. So the system does attempt to provide for people who are of more advanced age, more prone to illness, to have a much higher income threshold. That's set out in the legislation, and in addition they have the security of knowing that they can have savings and those won't be treated. But if there are special circumstances, and undoubtedly there are in this case, those special circumstances will be reviewed in each case, and that discretion is there, and it will hinge obviously on the merit of the case. And if the Deputy wants to give details, I'll certainly arrange that the HSE would examine those details.